Greetings. I'm here with the continuation of the creation and fall of man. We left off with, there are Christians that might say that man and woman was disobedient to God because they ate of the tree that was forbidden. Before I get off into the stories and the allegories and what we think we may believe, I'm going to first give you my perspective of what I feel is truth. First, how do we know man was created? As far as time that we can go back, we can go only back to the womb. The womb. I'm talking about your mother. Man can trace himself back to his mother and his mother and his mother before that mother. Now, in my own small portion of understanding, I have grown to understand that we are in this life. We were conceived with a bond of male and female and was brought forth into a physical reality. Now, on the course of this physical reality, we as humans, or whatever we call ourselves, have been trying to figure out one question. Why? Why am I here? Is this on purpose? We might put the word divine and say, well, I have a divine purpose. We may be born into fertile soils. When I say fertile soils, I mean in opportunities that might come across in your upbringing to give you a deeper insight. Some of these men grew to become prophets, messiahs. What I'm saying is, because I'm going to just say the truth first. I'm not finna get off into what I think the books say or what I feel this is, my interpretation of those words are. If we speak in facts, let's speak some facts. Me personally, I don't know what's going on. And I've done research and watched documentaries and sat in seminars, and they don't know what's going on either. So, all we can talk about is the now. What we do know that we are here. For what purpose? I think that design depends on you. And the most powerful thing we have, what I might call a God gift, choice. Because how we choose determines the navigation. Hey man, you want to ride with us to the show, and after the show we're gonna shoot up some guys? Nah man, I'm not gonna do that. I'm cool. Or they might not even have to say it. From the reputation, you may know what they are involved in, and now you choose. Do I do this or do I do that? What I'm basically saying is, I think we fall short. I think we fail. Man fall in the creation because we trying to figure out what's going on when we have no idea what's going on with self. This is why deeper sciences always refer to the self. When was the last time you thought about your stomach? When was the last time you even thought about what it is I'm going to eat and how will it affect my body? And I'm not getting into food. I'm just getting into self. Self. When was the last time that you looked around you outside a bush, a tree, an ant, and thought about your relationship with this? Because wait a minute, you exist, I exist, we dwell in this same eco. So who are you and who am I? See, we can't answer questions that really not even brought on the table. And when I say that, I mean, who knows? All we know is we can trace ourselves back to the womb. Oh yeah, we can trace ourselves back to mother. And then that mother can trace herself back to her mother. You know? And then that mother can trace herself back to that seed of that father. Well, this was my father. And that father can trace himself back to that mother. Not stirring off the subject, but they are now discovering things about Egypt that decades ago they wouldn't even have brought up. Why? Because the technology is changing. The way we apply our science and math are changing. I was just looking a week ago today. They said, wait a minute. This is water erosion around the Sphinx. These rocks were eroded with water. So wait a minute. We've known Egypt to be desert. All we can think of is desert. So if they say water, okay, most people are going to say, well, it's the flood. The flood made that water, dog. I'm going to say, well, if you do a chronological order of what you're reading, the flood, when the flood happened, there was no such thing as Egypt or the dynasty that you know. When I say the dynasty that you know, meaning that common sense will tell you that, wait a minute, there is something going on here. You walk in some of these temples, and I'm not just putting emphasis on Egypt, I'm just talking about reality. What do we know for real? Because you could walk in some of these temples and look up and see what we describe as hieroglyphs or the writings on the pyramid text, writings, pictures in a row on the ceiling, higher, like 12 stories up, all around, perfect, colors, paintings, gigantic temples built, stone. We stay on the pyramid so much, but we got to figure out, wait a minute, this is writing on temples, inside the temples, graves, dug in graves that were carved and made for, you know, dynasty, rulers. They say in Tutankhamen's grave, they found all types of jewelry and gold. And so wait a minute, what was going on? And I'm putting the emphasis on Egypt because in these days they are now telling us dates, and these dates do not add up to what we grew up on. See, they now saying this is public knowledge. They're saying, hey, Egypt can trace itself, or it dates back to at least 10,000 years Okay, that's small. Some archaeologists have said that it can go back to 50,000 years. 50,000 years. I'm not discrediting no religion, whether it be Islam or whether it be Christianity. What I'm saying is the timeline is off. I read in the first chapter of a book that had its first chapter titled Creation and Fall of Man. And in the first sentence, this is what it said. Time never was when man was not. I'm just going to stop right there. That right there tells me that, whoa, man has been existing since thought has been existing. So, when they be saying, well, we're finding caves and ancient people like the Aztecs and Mayas, you know, we stay in Egypt, but it was deep things going on, like in the hills of Cahokia. There were things going on thousands of years ago. So, in that first sentence, it says time never was when man was not. That just basically tells you that you can't put a time on how long we have been here. And every generation thinks that they're the generation. And every generation says, well, this is the end of days. And yeah, it may be the end of this age, but another age will open up. Maybe some meteorites did hit the planet and destroyed certain ages, like the dinosaur age, but there are facts, proof that humans were existing with dinosaurs. You don't believe me? Just look it up. Research it. What they do now, they Google it. Google it. So yeah, maybe the Earth did warm up. The glaciers in the Antarctica started to melt, and then there was a flood. Maybe there was a flood. Yeah. All civilizations, ancient civilizations recorded a flood. Well, maybe the waters rose and wiped out probably most of civilization. And it's recorded because it was so great. And there probably were many arks built. Because I was reading in the Vedas that them people built the ark. So that's probably why we still have these different ethnic or groups or different humanoids. Like one person told me, well, Donald is the black man, the original man, is he first? And in my years of understanding and growing in knowledge, I had to answer him with the truth. I said, hey man, you got a dog? He said, yeah. I said, I got a dog too. What kind of dog you got? He said, man, I got a German Shepherd. What kind of dog you got? I got like a mixed pet bull. But you got a dog, right? He said, yeah. I said, it's a dog. He said, yeah, it's a dog. I said, but it ain't the same dog, but it's a dog. See where I'm getting at? If we could just so openly look at animals, insects, and know what type of insect that is, that's an ant. But inside the ant, there are differentiations of that ant. The army ant, the red ant, the flying ant. We can look at the bird, and everybody can agree upon this is a bird. But there's the eagle, there's the hawk, you know, blue jay, cardinal. Different types of birds, different ethnics, different qualities, different type. But it's a bird. So I answered the man and say, well, if this planet is showing you that a tree, we know it's a tree, but there are pine trees, evergreen trees, this type of tree, all type of trees. Why don't you think that we is what we call humans? Well, we different or something? We not the same? We not connected? Yeah. To every region, probably, just like in certain regions, certain plants grow. Why don't you think that that type of humanoid is appropriate for that region? There was no one branched off from another. No. Just as you can agree that it's a bird and there are different hawk, eagle, same as us. But we just give them colors. Black, yellow, white. You know. We gangify ourselves. Put differences among each other. These differences, or when I'm getting back to the choice, these differences separate ourselves. And when we separate ourselves, you can't function without each other. You can't separate yourself from yourself. So, just speaking to the so-called black community, how they do what they do to us because they know there is no unity. And I'm not just saying this as a black power statement, but things that are separate are evil. Once you separate or disbase yourself from God, what's the other side? That's evil. When you come as one, you are the truth. Thank you. And I'll see you again next Sunday.